Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Road to Nowhere podcast. Yes, this week's episode is going to be extremely short, and it's just because, honestly, you guys, I don't know what to talk about this week. I'm also making this video very last minute. I haven't made a last minute video in a while, and for good reason, but, yeah. So, when I was sitting here thinking about what to talk about, I was thinking, well, it's Christmas week. I could tell a story, but I don't really have a good story off the top of my head. And then I thought, well, I could talk about the Mandalorian season finale that happened recently. Except I haven't watched the current season at all. I was waiting for very specific reasons. And so then I thought, well, I could talk about the fact that part of the ending has already been spoiled for me, and I now know that they're doing the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. They're doing a series that's supposed to come out right around fall of next year, completely centered around the character that died at the end of, or the beginning of Return of the Jedi. Boba Fett. And yes, for those of you that don't know, if you watch the movie, Boba Fett gets eaten by a freaking monster pit thing. I don't know what it's called. But he supposedly gets eaten by this thing. And yet somehow he survives. I'm sitting here going, well, what the fuck? Like, wait, he survived? Wait a minute. I thought that thing ate him. So when I saw this in the news, like, I still don't know what happens in the season finale of Mandalorian. I don't want to get it spoiled, so if you put something in the comments that's spoiler-ish, I will fucking ban you from my channel. Don't do that. Don't be that asshole, okay? But I'm really excited for this. I don't know anything about it, but it looks cool from the very little I've seen, because I'm really trying to avoid any spoilers. But it looks cool. I don't know the timeline in which this takes place, but we already know that The Mandalorian takes place after the events of Return of the Jedi and before the events of The Force Awakens. So, yeah. At least I think that's right. I'm pretty sure that's right. I know it's before the Dark Order showed up. I think that's what it's called. I honestly can't remember anything from the last 3 Star Wars movies, because I really haven't watched them a whole lot. I think I've seen all of them collectively once. So yeah, and I have Disney Plus. I just want to point that out. I should go back and watch them. But anyways, I saw that and I thought, that's pretty cool. They did the Solo movie. I would love to see, and this is just me spouting, nonsense, by the way. This is all just opinions. I would love to see a film that follows Luke after the events of Return of the Jedi, or a series. I mean, I know they're doing Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think it's just called Kenobi. And that follows him following the events of Revenge of the Sith up to A New Hope. The whole series is supposed to literally be where Revenge of the Sith ends and where New Hope begins. Like, that's what the series is supposed to be about. So, I would love to see that. I mean, we'll finally get the live-action fight between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Although, they may end up not even doing that because it was done in the animated show. But I still think a live-action scene would be better. And hopefully, I kind of hope they do more of a fight scene and not what they did in the animated show. Because while it made sense, given the circumstances, I would love to see more of an actual fight between those two characters. That's just me personally. But we'll see what happens. In any event, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff that's coming out next year. And I'm excited for some of it. I don't know half of it. I saw the Falcon and Winter Soldier preview. That looks awesome. Loki. I can't make out a freaking thing from that teaser. other than it definitely follows the events of what happened during Endgame. If you haven't seen Endgame, you need to see it. Otherwise, you're going to be confused as hell. Pretty much both these shows spur from that movie, so you really need to see it. Now, I also thought that Vision, wasn't that supposed to start, like Vision and like WandaVision or whatever it's called? Wasn't that supposed to start this month? I guess not. I don't know. I'm confused, but whatever. A lot of good stuff coming out next year. And I'm excited for all of it, but there's still things I'd love to see. I mean, Disney now owns the rights to the X-Men, so I would love to see a Marvel Cinematic Universe version of the X-Men. I would definitely love to see whoever the hell is going to be Wolverine. I've always been a fan of Wolverine. I don't know why. I just, for some reason, related to the character. So I would love to see that, and I hope they do it justice. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine, but Hugh Jackman is like what, 6'2", 6'3". He's not short dude. Very muscular. I mean, Wolverine. He had some muscle on him. Wasn't a schlub, but he is more portly in some ways. He's short, and yet the Wolverine Hugh Jackman portrayed was completely different. But he still did a good job. I think he did an amazing job as the character. But I would like to see what Marvel can do with it. Same with all the X-Men. I don't know. I've always really wanted to see the X-Men done differently because, Fox did some good versions. I think the First Class and the one that series that followed, they were good, but they were still in that universe that Fox had created, and it is what it is. But I know whether this year in 2021 coming, not 2020, but in 2021, we're supposed to get Fantastic Four, I think, was announced. I know the next Spider-Man is supposed to come out with Sony. What else is happening? There's a bunch of movies coming out this next year, and I'm excited for all of them. And I will absolutely be watching them, hopefully in theaters. That's one thing I haven't done in a really long time, is go watch a movie in a theater. And once this pandemic is over, I'm going to the movies. That is a definite thing that's happening. That, or I'll just make my own movie theater at home and wait for them to come out on Disney Plus or VHS, DVD, whatever. Did I actually just say VHS? Oh my God. I am old as dirt saying that. Holy crap. For those of you that don't know, I'm 38. So, yeah, I'm old. I'm just not grandpa old, but seriously, I said VHS. Man. For the record, they actually still make VHS versions of films. They are not widely available. You have to go to very specific locations to get them, but they are legitimate copies made by the distributor on VHS. And I think that's pretty cool that they still do that. It's not every film that gets it, but there are several films that do end up on VHS. The same with Laserdisc. Laserdisc was DVDs before DVDs. For those of you that don't know what a Laserdisc is, it is literally a CD just the size of a record. It is massive. I actually have some. And if things go the way I'm hoping they will, I'm going to get a Laserdisc player this year and watch them for the first time in years. I have an original, unaltered copy of Jaws that my dad left me that I would love to watch. Mind you, I'm not a fan of scary movies at all, nor am I a fan of Jaws, but I will totally watch it if I can find the player. I've got Wizard, the Ben Savage movie, the video game about Mario Brothers. It's not really about Mario Brothers, but like that is a background element to the story. And I don't know, man. I got those movies and I'd love to sit down and watch them. Because they're clean, crisp, undamaged, untainted films that I haven't seen in forever. And I'd love to see them in this unaltered state. And they're all widescreen. So they would play appropriately on a 16:9 format screen. So I'd love to see that. And if I get the right Laserdisc player, these fucking things will look awesome. So we'll see what happens. But I have a lot of, I wouldn't say expectations, but I have a lot of plans for 2021. The biggest plan is for me to continue to grow my channel, start live streaming, and hopefully turn this into something more than just something I do for fun. I mean, when you guys go back to 2013, when I first started doing YouTube, I had the worst intentions back then. I was honest about it, just like I'm being honest about it now. I want to make YouTube a job. I want it to be my livelihood because I enjoy doing this. This, to me, is fulfilling. I am always trying to better myself, but doing YouTube is also therapeutic for me in some weird way, especially this series. So, next week's episode, though, is going to be a very long one. So be prepared for that in advance, for those of you wondering. We're going to do a 2020 in review. I don't know why I was about to say 2021. We're going to do a 2020 in review, and I'm basically going to talk about each month and things that happened. And there's a big part of it, I just tell you right now, going to be bitching about everything going on with my dad and what happened, and of course, the inevitable ending of that story. But I'm not just going to talk about what's happened in my personal life, but I'm going to talk about the world events that were happening as well, and I want to give my thoughts and opinions on those. And I may do this once a year where I just completely go out of what I've found is like my limitations for what I can talk about and just talk about everything. So, yeah. Next week, be prepared for me to finally knock a few walls down in a sense and just go absolutely nuts. I'm probably going to get myself in trouble with this episode. But thank you guys for joining me. This is going to be where I call it for this one. I will see you guys next week. Until then, adios.